This video is brought to you by the Wonderful 101, exclusively on Wii U.
Hey guys, Eric and Joey here to talk about the long-awaited premiere of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I first got to see the pilot back at Comic-Con when they screened it, so my review's been up for a while, very glowing review.
Joey, lucky duck.
I know, I do what I have to. But Joey, what did you think of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
I liked it a lot. It was way more funny than I expected it to be, and there's lots of surprises, you know. I thought I sort of knew where it was going to go, but I didn't really, so I like that.
I think the sense of humor is key. It's sort of a Joss Whedon trait, and it really hit me in that first scene that when we meet Agent Ward, and when he breaks into the place, and once that girl shows up and sort of her sort of like whatever while he's having a pretty cool fight.
Yeah.
I thought that's like that great sort of tonal mix that Joss Whedon does.
Yeah,
you know?
the moment that got it for me was with Coulson and Hill, and she's just like, it looks like poop. I was like, they said poop on S.H.I.E.L.D. And that sold me, so that's all I needed. I needed a poop joke, and I was happy.
You can't go wrong with poop jokes. And then you're talking about the twists and turns, and it's interesting because I feel like it's almost like they faked us out on what we should be looking for. You know, it's like everyone was talking about J. August Richards' character, and would he be a secret Marvel character? And he wasn't.
Yeah.
Mike Peterson is Mike Peterson.
Yeah.
But I liked where it went, the story of the episode, as far as, you know, we think, oh, he's going to be this new hero they find and recruit. Maybe he'll join the team. But instead it was this sort of tragic, dark story of him almost becoming a supervillain.
Yeah, it was interesting because it was a really dark path for him, and especially with the whole thing with his son and everything, but juxtaposed against the sort of lighter humor, which I think is probably a very Whedon trait, you know.
Right.
Have this dark story, but lighten it up a little bit. But I like that. My only concern with it is that I hope they don't go too much into sort of like the Monster of the Week kind of thing. Although with, 22 episodes for a season, like it's unavoidable, I think.
Right.
But if they keep it grounded in the way that they did this, I think it'll be okay.
I mean, I think it's interesting. Talking about the show, they made sure to say a lot, that it will have a procedural aspect, that there will be a case of the week. I agree with you that hopefully it's not always so clear-cut, like here's a guy to fight every week. You know, hopefully it goes in different directions. But they also did make sure to establish whoever this sort of mysterious group is behind everything in this pilot episode. So you kind of know that's in the background. You know?
Yeah, there's definitely, I liked all the seeds of like the sort of the larger storylines with the bad guys, and also the whole thing with Coulson, whatever's happening with him.
Yeah.
So I do like that there is like this bigger arc that they're hinting at.
Yeah, I mean, like, everyone's been speculating about how Coulson would come back, and they gave us the easy explanation, oh, it was just basically near-death experience, but then they've hinted that there's clearly something else out there.
Classic comic book.
Classic comic book.
I'm still pulling for an LMD, so it's not out of the question yet.
It's not out of the question. No. Anything can happen. You know, so everyone has been talking about a lot about the villains and what characters from the comic books would pop up. I think it's interesting the pilot, and I think this was very much on purpose, went out of its way to not, you know, have a ton of comic book characters come in. They didn't even name drop a bunch of comic book characters, except for little bits here and there that I think tied in more to the Marvel movies we've seen than the comic books, like Extremis being part of what was going on, and like the Agent Romanoff mentioned. Yeah. What did you think of that, or did you want more comic book references?
No, I thought it was a nice balance, because I think for those of us that know the comics inside and out, I think the pilot has enough where you're like, if you know what's going on, you're like, okay, that's cool how they did that.
Yeah.
But if you have no idea, it doesn't detract from, you know, just jumping into the show. If you've never seen anything Marvel, I think you can still watch this show.
Yeah, because, you know, when you think about it, they have 3 fan bases to appease. They've got the comic book fans, the hardcore comic fans, the people who are the Marvel movie fans, and the people who just might be watching this TV show without having seen any of it. And I think it did do a good job of sort of balancing all those things.
It's going to be interesting to see if, you know, what crowds sort of are attracted to this show. Like if it's going to be the revenge ABC crowd, you know, because that's very much geared to them as well. So.
Or we'll get more of the Lost crowd back who haven't been watching ABC in a
while.
Well, let us know what you thought of the first episode of S.H.I.E.L.D. We will definitely be tracking this show as it continues throughout the season. Thanks a lot, guys, and stay here at IGN.